What's going on? I'm Keytron Hill. You are tuned into BallerAlert. Today we are starting our top 10 list. So whether you're a top 10 fashion innovator, top 10 content creator, or top 10 choreographer, I am here with the one, the only Mr. Full Out Cortland. What's going on, man?
Hi. Ever since I was a child, I was always known for dancing. I was always known for, oh, he could dance, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept doing it. So like everywhere I would go, I would start like dance teams and like make little dance groups or like find a way to perform. So like whether it was church or school or like anywhere I went, I was starting dance teams. So like that trickled into, one of my biggest outlets, I think that taught me the most was when I was in high school. And, that they have like a little dance team that wasn't doing anything. And like, I became a part, and that's where I started like being able to like express myself creatively and putting together like shows for that. Like that was just my like love in my life. Then eventually that graduated to, I found a studio that was near my house, and I started, they started letting me take like free classes there. That's around the time I was like 17 going on 18. And I trained there for like a year. And then that, eventually that connected me to like the dance community. And so like in South Florida, so I just started like, taking regular classes down there, doing like showcases, here and there. At the same time, I had my little dance team in the church, Image Breaker. And then that just went on to like when I was like 20, I moved to Atlanta. And when I moved to Atlanta, it's like I forgot, like I didn't forget about dance, but it was just like I wasn't raised in this, so I didn't know how to get into it like that. So I met this girl at a train station, and I was kind of like dancing to the music in my headphones or whatnot. And she's just like, "You're a dancer, aren't you?" And I was just like, "Yeah." She was just like, "Me too. I'm doing this showcase and blah, blah, blah." It's called, what was it? I think it was Mad Expressions. And she was like, yeah, I would love for you to be in my piece. Come check it out. And I'm just like, okay. And so that was my introductory to like the Atlanta industry, which was more to me, like more of an industry. And from there, that became my outlet. Those showcases, the Mad Expressions and the Vibe showcases. And like, that became my outlet that, dance teams were for me in school and like in church and stuff like that. That became my outlet on how I do shows. And now I'm like working with dancers and doing showcases like every other month. And then eventually that just led me to moving to LA and struggling for years when I had moved to LA. Like I moved to LA for like a year in 2016 and then again in 2017 for like 6 months, but LA kicked my ass.
So in between LA, were you back in Atlanta or Miami?
Yeah, I lived in Atlanta for 4 years.
Okay.
And in those 4 years, I just did showcase after showcase, and I learned so much about the dance industry in that period of time. Like, I just learned so much and grew so much from doing those showcases alone. That was just like a graduated experience of what I was doing all my entire life, which was finding a way to dance. And that became my new outlet, but that new outlet just really opened my eyes. And so actually in that moment, I remember like feeling like super like left out, and like being from Miami, we dance really big. So when you dance big like that, it's not a bad thing, but not much people can do it. But in this industry, if you're different and if you're causing, attention and people are liking it, people are going to talk against it. So it was a lot of people like, you need to calm down. You need to dance in pocket, get in a pocket. You dancing too wild, blah, blah, blah. And eventually I just got tired of it because it just made me like get in my head. And that's where the name like Full Out comes from, because I just was frustrated and I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to create my own brand. I'm going to do my own shit. I'm going to dance big, and I'm going to like inspire people to like do whatever the fuck they want to do and like go for it. Like no holding back, like no holding like yourself like, oh, I need to pull. No, Full Out. go full throttle, go full out. And from that very moment, that's when things kind of like shifted for me. And people really started fucking with me because I was just trying to encourage people to do their own thing, and I just didn't care. And that attracted people. And later on, I kept that name going, Full Out Cortland. That started in like 2015. I made apparel and everything. And then like 2016, I moved to LA. And that's when I started training, like as a dancer and making more connections and just struggling and just going. The lady who actually linked me to Doja Cat, I met in one of those dance classes. I met her in a dance class when I was like homeless, but I was still taking dance classes. And we made a connection, a genuine connection. We followed each other on Instagram. And a few years later,
I was gonna say, what was the time frame from when you met her to the time you got that call to actually work for Doja Cat?
It was like 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
I met her in like 2017. We stayed connected 2000 into 2019. She's like, hey, my friend, and this is before, Doja Cat was Doja Cat. And she's like, oh, this is like, my friend is looking for a choreographer in Miami. Oh shit, I'm leaving something out.
Okay.
Hopefully this don't fuck everything up. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, you're good.
So I remember I told you I met her when I was taking classes and I was homeless in LA.
Okay.
Things got so bad in LA and I got so tired of sleeping outside and just not knowing where I'm sleeping and stuff like
Grind
that.
got real.
Yeah, so I went back to Miami and I stayed in Miami for like a year. And in that year, you know me, like I just said, I find an outlet to dance. I find an outlet to create. Like that's just been my natural life my entire life. And so my natural habitat when I go to Miami, okay, I'm gonna make a bunch of dance videos and I'm gonna show the Miami culture and blah, blah, blah. So I spent that year pumping out concept video after concept video after concept video after concept video after concept video over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
And eventually I couldn't live in Miami anymore because, again, homeless, nowhere to go, no money, but keep that in mind. That's how she started thinking like, oh, he's in Miami choreographer. So that's for me being down in Miami for that time. That's what did that for her in her mind.
Okay.
I moved to Tallahassee to live with my mother. So that's how all the attack and all of that stuff, like all of the FAMU stuff, again, another outlet of me to try to find a way to dance and create. So I'm in a bummer situation that I have to go back and live with my mother and get a job in Tallahassee to try to save up some money to whatever. But in that moment, I'm like, okay, I need to dance. Like, what's around here? FAMU. So I started working with all the orgs and like the dance teams from FAMU and doing videos in Tallahassee so that I could just keep it going.
Right.
And because I never stopped going, that's where her mind went when that producer friend was looking for a choreographer in Florida. They were not impressed with anybody else that they saw. And they hit me up. It was for Doja Cat's Like That video, which was the first video we shot and the first project we worked together on. And I greyhounded myself down to Miami. And yeah, and it's been history since then. The day I got back to Atlanta, they flew me out to LA the next day.
So what was the very first dance video you ever made and choreographed and actually got the camera, recorded it and made? What was the theme of it? What song was it? I looked on your YouTube. I'm not sure if the one from 2006 is your first one. What was the very first one, if you can remember?
That I filmed myself, that I shot, or yes, that I did, period?
That you shot back in way back in the day when you first started.
Oh crap. The first video that I shot is probably something that ain't even up no more. The first dance video that I shot.
Or that you can remember. The one that's you just remember early days in the beginning.
Oh, it was a horrible dance video to Flawless by Beyonce in 2013. That I think it's out there, but that thing was horrible. Oh my God. It was me and two other people. It was bad by the train tracks.
I think that one is up, and I'm gonna find out. I think that one.
Oh my God. It's so bad.
That's hilarious. No, I think that's dope. Like, you get to see your growth and where you came from. I think it's great. So I know that, Doja is just like big mega star now, big superstar. Who else would you want to work with? Like, who's another person that's probably like part of your dreams? Like, I have to work with this person.
Honestly, I would just love to keep working with people that I'm working with. And of course, I want to work with more people, because it'd be the people that you don't expect, like, that you would want to, like, it'd be the people that you don't expect that are the best to work with. And I just really want to work with people that appreciate me and that are grateful for me and that treat me well, and that it's like a give and take. Like, they appreciate what I'm giving them, and they feel my appreciation for what they're giving me. So I just really want to work with someone that I'm appreciated by, because what I'm learning is that, we could love whoever we want to love, but some of these people are just really not good people. So I really want to work with somebody who's just a good person who really wants to work. And a reason I'm able to say that is because I feel like in the last year I've worked with I've worked with everybody that I kind of like set out to work with. I made a list and everybody came naturally. So I'm just a believer in things just falling where they fall, and not like getting my hopes up to like work for something that God is not like, doesn't have in my plan. Gotcha. I know that's like such a like deep answer.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. I think it makes perfect sense, honestly. I love that response.
I just want to be happy. Like, I'm happy working with Doja. Like, that's my friend. Like, I enjoy working with her. And I just, that's not what the normal person, before I got to her and before we built what we built, most people wouldn't have thought like, oh, I want to work with Doja Cat. I want to be Doja Cat's choreographer. Like, people probably would have thought that she never would have even had a choreographer. Right. Because I loved Doja Cat right before, but I just never thought she would have been the artist to have a Doja Cat, like to have a choreographer. Like, I never thought she would be the kind of person that would be what we made. And it's a great situation. I love her, and I love the job, and I love how we work together.
You guys are like magic together. That kind of leads to my next question. So again, I've been following you for a while, so I'm always on Instagram watching the videos that you drop. I love to like watch the performance, and then you show what it was like in rehearsal, doing it, you put them right next to each other. Absolutely love those. So what is it like when you're, let's say, choreographing like your own private class, or when you're in rehearsals with Doja? Like, what's the difference between the energy, the rehearsals? Like, what's the difference between those two? Or is it similar?
It's very similar, because I'm very big on energy and like making sure that everybody in the room is comfortable, whether it's an artist or like the dancers that come and take my class. So everybody really gets the same treatment. And like, even like in rehearsals for Coachella before Doja came in, I was letting the dancers know, I'm just like, I know that y'all are enjoying, like they're enjoying the energy, they're having fun, and they're getting the job done. And I'm like, just so y'all know, like, the energy's gonna stay the same once she gets here. Like, it's probably gonna get better. You know what I mean? So I'm just very big on creating a good energy. And I think that's why like all the artists that I work with, I become friends with, because I'm just big on good energy. So I treat my dancers in class the exact same as I treat my artists. Like, let's have a good ass fucking time. We're gonna work, but you're gonna feel comfortable. Like, you're gonna be in a comfortable space to where it's okay to just let go and have a good time and do your job. Because to me, you work better when you're comfortable. The quicker you're comfortable, the better you're gonna work.
Right. Absolutely. So I know you said, you just love creating, but what is your end goal? I know you're probably happy right now where you are in your career. I mean, who wouldn't be? You're like literally like probably the top choreographer right now, in my opinion. So what is your end goal? Like, where do you see your career a few years from now?
Definitely am gonna get heavier in directing and creative directing. I've had like a few nods this year, but I'm not ready yet, just yet, I feel like. But within the next 3 years, my goal is to be one of the biggest directors and one of the biggest creative directors that also choreographs and is able to like create the entire vision. I love creating. Like I love creating like the actual mood and the actual story and like what it really feels like. Cause I think as a creative, I work on certain things and I'm always looking at it like, damn, they should have put this here, or they should have did this, or she should have did this, or they should have did this. They should have took this further. They should have like, so I just plan to get more into that.
So this is a question I just wanted to ask. What is the one performance that Doja Cat has done where afterwards you kind of sat back like, or y'all both kind of sat back like, yeah, we did that. Like, what's the one that just stands out? Because I have mine. What's your one that you've done so far?
Okay, I got two. It's two. I can't. Billboard 2020. Okay. The Chicago theme.
That was mine.
Yeah, it's like I love that performance so much. I think for me, because like that was the moment that like, I looked at my friend and I was just like, you're a fucking star and we're gonna do this shit, you know? And like we did that like in her living room, like before we stepped into rehearsals. Like I would come over and like we would I just work on movement with her, and it just turned out to just be this beautiful cohesive piece of art in the middle of COVID, where we only had 4 dancers. They had masks on, they had to be 6 feet apart, and we still made a beautiful performance. Like, so it's that one. And then it's Grammys, of course. Like that was to me more of a moment that we looked at each other afterwards and was just like, she literally ran up to me after she did the last take and just fucking cried in my fucking arms. Like she never cried, but she cried so hard because I worked her and we worked together, and she wanted to be fucking great. She wanted it to be amazing, and she's just not a crier. And I will always cherish that moment of her just coming off stage and just like literally just crying in my arms. Like it was the sweetest thing ever. And of course I cried, but the one that we really looked at, we were just proud of ourselves.
I love that. That's so dope. That's so dope. So people see you, they see that, you know, you have everything going on right now, but I know we saw your struggles, you know, becoming to where you are right now. But, you know, as an actual professional choreographer right now, what are some of your challenges that you face now? You know, you're in the industry, you're meeting people. What are some things that you kind of face that are kind of tough?
I'm a pretty open person, so it's like, I think getting used to like the industry being like, people in the industry being calculated with you, and not like just being like, you know, oh, let's see if he's a good person. Like, you know, he's a nice person. Like, let's check him out. Like, I think now like having to like weave out people that have ulterior motives, or they want to get close to Doja, or like, you know, that, and then also feeling like left out. I think that happens a lot. Like I guess the higher you go, it's like people always expect you to like have it together and be okay. So like, I think that's one thing for me, is just because I'm just such an open person. So it's like, that sucks, because you kind of have to change a little bit. I would say that. And I think my last thing would be is just like, just not enough people in the industry do this for the love of it. Sometimes that can be discouraging, but I'm keeping my head above water. But I think that can be very discouraging because it takes the fun and the love out of the art when you're around people who don't appreciate and like are not. It's a business for them.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
So for those choreographers or dancers who may be, not where you're at yet, just starting or been working at it for a while and you haven't quite made it, what advice would you give them?
To just keep doing their thing. I tell people this all the time, like, don't be out here trying to impress nobody. Do your shit. Be the best at what you do. Like, no matter what it is that you do, master that thing first and do it with no mother and no stipulations. Fuck it up. That's my advice to anybody. That's exactly why I'm in the position I'm in now, because I didn't allow people to tell me, what I should be. And I don't think nobody should do that. I think everybody should just do their shit in the best way.
Got you. Well, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It was amazing sitting
all of my time.
Chit-chatting with you has been awesome. I know you have to get ready for South America. All right, you guys take care. Nice to meet y'all in person.